Okay, so who we've got with us here is Adrian and Pierce. I'm going to give them an opportunity to introduce themselves. And what I do want to know, and everybody else wants to know, just who you are, where do you operate, how long have you been with EweMove, and what kind of background have you got before coming into EweMove?
I'll let you start.
I'm Adrian. We're EweMove, Wapping and Bow, so we're based in East London. Our offices are fairly near Tower Bridge. We've been with the franchise now, we're in our 5th year, so we'll be renewing our contract this year and going into a new phase. My previous experience is not estate agency at all. For much of my career, I have worked at senior level within the motor industry, most latterly as a director with Mercedes-Benz. Afterwards, I set up a consultancy business where I was initially providing consultancy to the motor industry, and then latterly to some estate agency businesses.
Cool. Yeah, and I'm the son of Adrian. So yeah, I mean, I've got somewhat mixed experience, but started my first role in estate agency at the age of 17 in Hackney, which is great. So probably coming in at around 6-7 years of estate agency experience now, and in sales. I also have experience in recruitment as well, but been a part of this franchise, I think I want to say 3.5 years, or okay. May have to correct me on that, but never look back.
All right, now good stuff. Now, the awards that your franchise did win at the last awards is the best average fee. Personally, just this is from my side, I love that award. I have presented that award before, and I'd love to present that award every single year. I think it is a massive achievement to have the average highest fee in the network, and it doesn't mean that you've just winged it on one particular transaction. There is criteria that you have to have at least 10 transactions with that kind of fee. Obviously, you guys are doing more than that. But what everybody might not know is I am aware that year after year after year, you guys are always up there either winning that award, or I wouldn't say coming second or third, or coming second. So it is something that you've been doing for quite a while, very consistently. So on my side, very well done. Congratulations. And I would like us to take this opportunity to find out, what can I learn if I'm a franchisee? And I'm asking you guys, give me something that I can take away, implement in my business, change my mindset possibly, so that I can increase my fee. All right. So is there something different about you as a person? Is there something different about your service value proposition that you're offering that people just say, yes, I'm taking it and I'm happy to pay for the fee? What is it that you guys do differently, do you believe?
I think we're both different. So my career is in sales, and I take that seriously. I always have taken that seriously. So first of all, getting good sales training is really important. Without good sales training, it's very difficult to implement a strategy where you can actually get the highest possible fee. So we can probably talk about it a little bit later, but I have many tactics. The first one I would say, if I had to give some advice to anybody, and I do this all the time, and I used to do this when I was helping estate agencies grow their business, the area of training I think you'll get a lot of benefit from will be an understanding of the different personalities that you're actually dealing with, because your strategy will be different depending on which type of person you're dealing with. So if you've got an understanding of something like Myers-Briggs, or if you've got an understanding of something like Clarity 4D, those are some really basic things that will give you insights into people's personalities, and then you can adapt your presentation to that particular personality, and you'll be on the same page as them, and it will feel a lot more comfortable for both you and for them.
I do not agree. Just a couple of things that you mentioned there that I want to highlight is, number one, you did use the word sales. It seems like, in my opinion, that a lot of people in the UK try and move away from that word sales. This business is very marketing heavy, very sales heavy. I like it that you say you take sales very seriously and that you can be trained. Those are all very, very key things. I used to operate as a very, very highly successful agent, and when people ask me what is it, what's the magic, right at the top of the list, I also rate that you need to understand that people have got different personalities, different drivers, and I'm excited to hear that you do leverage that and you do learn about that and use that in it, and you do believe that that does result in you being able to sell well, get people to understand the value, and accept your terms and conditions. So that's really, really great advice. But then how do you learn and how do you teach others in your business these strategies and tactics?
So for me and Pierce, I've sent Pierce on training courses that have covered those particular topics. There's lots you can actually find, and there's lots of courses you can find yourself online, but I'd say certainly that's the start of it. Certainly the start of it is understanding personality, because for me, my personality is, I'm a little bit of a mixture. If I was using something like Clarity 4D, I'm a mix between a yellow and a green. So I'm fairly outgoing. I make decisions fairly quickly, and I tend to make them from the heart. But if I was dealing with somebody who was, for argument's sake, blue, and they were very, very logical, and they are thinking very much from the head, then I'm going to tone down my personality. I'm going to pitch to them on their level, where I know they want information. I know they want data to support that information. They're going to make a logical decision. So the communicative style I will have with them will be very logical and very data-based. If I was dealing with somebody like me, that conversation will be a lot less strategic. It would be about creating rapport with that person, finding common ground with that person, making that person laugh, making that person smile. It's a different strategy completely. So yeah, to understand that, and I mean, I've touched upon two. There are 4 main personality profiles, but then they can be split into many subdivisions as well. But if you get that basic knowledge, it will help you at the very least tailor your conversation to suit the person you're in front of. And that's what I said earlier, that makes that person feel much more at ease with you. They think that they actually are connecting with you, and the reason they feel a connection with you is that you're talking their language.
Yeah.
Now, something that struck with me very often is, you know, sometimes you've all got them. You walk out of an appointment, you say, do you know what? I wish everyone was like that, because I really got on with that person. I really clicked with that person. That's probably because you bumped into somebody like you, which you're going to do 25% of the time. Imagine if you could do that 100% of the time. Imagine if the person you bumped into 100% of the time connected with you. And that's the difference. And that's where we talk about sales and that understanding of people profiling to start with as a key element of sales training.
Yeah, and Adrian, that's beautiful. I love the way that you said that. And people listening over here, particularly if they've been to the conference, they would have heard Nigel, and he's talking about the 4 different animals. Myself and the BDMs, we teach it on NLO. We talk about quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4. You're talking blue, yellow, green, and etc. They're all the same thing at the end of the day. It is important to understand that so that you can read it in other people and also understand yourself so that you see how you can modify it. But what you're saying there is, if you can get a good connection with that person's getting a good connection with you, therefore they're buying into you, and whatever it is that you're selling then becomes part of you. So it's the focus more on the person, that's what I'm hearing here, than anything else. Am I correct?
Yeah, if you focus on the person and they build up that rapport with you, they're less likely to focus on the rate. They've already bought into you, they've already bought into your service, they like you. And if they like you and your rate, when you quote your rate, they're not going to object to it. They're going to be on board with it.
Right. Now, that's going to make the next question a little bit difficult to answer, because you actually said what I believe as well. They're less likely to object. But let's take a look at when you do get objections, because I know wherever you operate, and even if you're going to move to somewhere else, you've always got competitors who are charging low fees. So those agents are also coming in front of your vendors. And how are you having that conversation when that comes up, that you're competing against lower fee agents and people are objecting to your fees? How do you deal with that?
Yeah,
I mean, I can answer. Peter, do you want to answer that one, or do you want me to answer that one?
I mean, yeah, there's a whole heap of ways you can kind of have that conversation. I think the main thing is it is a natural conversation, right? There should be some back and forth there. So for every low percentage agent there is out there, it's knowing them, it's knowing their kind of output and knowing what vendors would get from an agent like that. But it's equally knowing that there's also agents that charge a higher fee than us as well, and knowing what kind of service they offer. So I think knowing the competition there is highly valuable, because you want to know what you know what you're worth, but you also equally know that this is what you're offering over the lower fee competition. Adrian?
It's something I always say, and we've got a small patch. We're in London, so it's dense, but it's a small patch. So it would stretch about 2 miles. It's a square area, maybe 2 miles by 2 miles. Okay? Within the area, we've got 176 agents. Not agencies, 176 agents. So, and some of those agents have got multiple locations. Just in my high street in Wapping, Dexter's have got 4 locations alone. Okay, so we're dealing with 176 different agents, and every one of those agents has got a different proposition. Every one of those agents has got probably 5-10 people working from them, and they're all different. So when we position ourselves, we're positioning ourselves against a whole host of different agents. We're pitching against low agents, low rate agents. We're pitching against some who are probably on a par with us, and we're pitching against 1 or 2 that might have a slightly higher rate than us. What we're always doing is looking to provide the value in our service. So it's irrelevant what anybody else is charging. If I believe I'm providing a service at 2.1%, which is what we go out at, then to me it's irrelevant what everybody else is doing. I need to present my service, and I need to present why that is value for money against anybody else's. More often than not, we're up against 5 or 6 agents a time. So minimum 5 or 6 agents where they've gone and got quotes from them, and there'll be a range of quotes. We're not necessarily a high volume agent, but if you could see my board behind me at the moment, we win about 70%. So where it would normally be 1 in 3, I think would be good for the industry. We're hitting at about 70% of what we go for, and we're often the highest rate. So I know for sure that it's not, the rate isn't the reason people do not choose us. I've had it happen twice. Where people have said, well, if you drop your rate, you can have the business, and we didn't drop our rate. I have had it happen twice in 5 years. So it does happen, but it's very rare. It's very, very rare. And out of those two, actually, one of them has come back to me. One of them did come back to me at the end of it as well. But you do, you can sometimes lose them. But discount is never the solution. If you believe that you're, in fact, I believe, and it might be something we talk about later, but if you discount a rate, or if you charge a lower rate, if you discount a rate, that's unheard of. Piers will tell you, I won't discount a rate. I'll defend my profit all day long because I think my service is worth what I charge for it. So discount is not a thing for me, and our rates heavily is publicised, and discount is not a thing for me. So then you've got against those people who you've got two sorts of things to look at. When you're looking at competitors, you've got the ones who start at the same as you but are prepared to discount, and then you've got the ones who are just lower to start with. And your strategy against both of those is different. I can elaborate on that, how we actually would do it. So if I've got somebody whose rate is low, so I'm up against a 1% agent. Now in our area, that's a lot of money. We're very, very fortunate. Our average house price and our average sale here is about 700,000. So we're dealing with big money. I get 2.1%, including the VAT. So, but that I'm only using that because it's an easy number to work out. So I'm selling something for 700,000. We're earning about £14,500. If I drop that by half, I cost myself £7,000. So I'm not prepared to let £7,000 go without a big fight. That isn't going to disappear off my table. So that's why I don't number one, I don't discount. But number two, if I'm dealing with an agent who is at 1% and I'm trying to justify why I'm twice as much money, then I'm not justifying the whole lot. I'm justifying what you get for the additional £7,000. So, and I can talk about this later on, but you have to first of all break it down to there. I'm not justifying £14,000. I'm justifying why I'm worth £7,000 more than the person who's half my price. That's the first thing. And then I just need to put that value on the service. I need to demonstrate that I'm worth £7,000 more, and that could be a combination of things from the customer service we provide, how quickly we can sell the property, how near to the asking price or over the asking price we can get to make that £7,000 up. So there's lots of tools we've actually got to be able to put that forward, and you have to put those forward. You can't just assume that people understand that and know that. You have to be able to clearly demonstrate.
A couple of things that you said there that I think is really, really great. You've mentioned you're very consciously aware of what you are worth. You also utilize the word profit, which means you know what it costs to run the business, you know what your costs are, and you know what profit margins you're going after. And I also like what you've said there about you don't always have to justify your full fee. You just have to justify the difference between your fee, which is a great way of handling objections and negotiating. That's very clever, and that's nice. I like that.
Yeah. On the other one, it's easier. Piers knows this is one of my favourite ones. We use it a lot. So a lot of the agents around here luckily do start at around 1.5% plus VAT, so they're around 1.8. I'd say that's where the majority sit. So they sit a little bit below us. I can tell you, when they're up against competition, they all discount. They are all prepared to discount. And to me, it's an open goal. When they actually, I have a very simple question I ask them, and it goes something like this. So you say that Dexter's quoted you 1.5% plus VAT. They quoted you 1.8%. Yes. And you managed to negotiate with them that fee down. Yeah. What do they come down to? They came down to 1.2%. So they discounted a third of their fee. How long did it take you to do that? 5 minutes. Are these the people you actually want to negotiate in your property?
Mm.
And they look at you and you can see it, they haven't nowhere to go. And I say, wouldn't you rather deal with somebody for the extra money that we're going to charge you who can actually defend the profit on your property? That to me is a strong and powerful argument, and that normally wins the day. So I quite like it when people discount, because you can see right through it. If you're discounting to me, if you can't defend your own profit, if you can't defend your own margin, how are you going to defend the margin of my house?
Yeah, it's great. Now, obviously, and you've mentioned already, is that your personality is different to Piers. Sure, there's a lot of similarities, but it is different. So I'm just looking at a whole network. Does it take a special kind of person to be able to charge their worth, charge high fees? What is required? Is it a characteristic? Is it a person? Is it just a training? Is it a habit? Is it the mindset? What do you believe is, if I needed to join your business or you wanted to employ another person, what would you be looking for in characteristics? Does that person have to have anything special? I don't know.
No, I don't think so at all. I think it's a mentality thing. It's a confidence thing. It's a mindset thing. I mean, we talk about the 4 personality types, but anyone from any part of that spectrum is perfectly capable of getting, a higher fee. It's basically just a belief in what you're doing. I think, and just having, like we said it earlier, just confidence in everything about your business, everything about the work that you do, and you know that 9 times out of 10 is going to get you there. It's just the mindset of saying, right, I'm worth this today, and not compromising on that at all.
I do agree. It's got discipline, it's got mindset, and it's got to do with belief. And obviously, you do need to know your value proposition and believe in it. But there's something else that I want to maybe tap into, and that is, I used to charge pretty much 30-40% more than other agents, but my motivation behind it was a bit of an odd one. Is I hated paying income tax. So I thought, if I'm earning this and I'm paying this much income tax, why don't I just charge more fees? I'll still pay income tax, but then it makes me feel all warm and fuzzy as if I'm not paying income tax. Is there something that drives you and motivates you not to negotiate?
There's something that drives me up the negotiate. I mean, do you know what it is? I've always thought discount's always been a dirty word to me. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. Belief is the first thing. There's an old I think it's an old Henry Ford saying, because I'm from the motor background. There was, if you think you can, you can, and if you think you can't, you're probably right. If you think you can't get 2% fee, then you're right. You can't get it. You haven't got the mindset to get it. You've already given up on it. If you're not advertising a fee at 2%, or you're saying, well, I can't get it in this area, I can't get it in that area, then you're wrong. I can tell you you're wrong. I'll give you a great example of this. When I returned to the motor industry, first of all, and I joined Mercedes-Benz, I joined a small branch in Kingston, which needed turning around. It was the least profitable branch they had in the UK. Okay. 2 miles down the road is Mercedes-Benz flagship dealership in the UK, Mercedes-Benz World. If any of you know it, or if you've been there, it's a fantastic facility. It shows 150 cars in the most modern building. It's got a racetrack around it. It's got museums. It's fantastic. Okay, 2 or 3 miles difference between the two. We were able, you know, if you were buying a car, Mercedes, one was a used car site, which looked like an old bomb site with a few cars in it, and one was the most palatial Mercedes-Benz dealership they've got in Europe. Okay? Within 6 months, we had the bomb site not only making more profit than Mercedes-Benz World, it was making on average, where their average, I think, was £1,200 profit a car, we were making £1,900 a car profit. It has nothing to do with the facilities. It had to do with the skill of the salespeople we actually had to be able to defend profit. You could put us anywhere. Now, eventually, when that job grew and that assignment became a national assignment, and I became a national director for used cars with Mercedes-Benz. And we managed to get, and I had the same conversation when I went to Birmingham. Yeah, you might get that in London, but you won't get it in Birmingham. We got it in Birmingham. Went to Manchester. You might get that in London and Birmingham. You won't get that in Manchester. We got it in Manchester. It was we got everybody to the same level. It was investment in sales training. It was everything we touched on. It was giving them the belief that they actually could do it, because they told themselves for years, it's not possible in this area. This isn't possible. I've got that dealership down the road who do this. It doesn't matter. It goes back to what I said, Wayne. You have to believe in what you're actually offering has got value to it. And if you believe that, if you start off, that's the start of it. That whole belief. If you believe you can, then you can. If you think you can't, you've already lost the battle.
Okay, now that's good stuff. Just to maybe wrap this up, if I'm now part of the network and I'm watching this and I'm thinking, I would love it if you could give me some advice that I can implement into my business pretty much immediately, and possibly tell me, is there something that I should avoid? Some things I should stay away from and things I should move towards. What would you advise me if I wanted to push it down, increase my fees?
Well, my advice would be to set the, do your research, look at everybody in the area. You can't be too far out of kill with everybody. But, I can't think of, if you've got agents in your area that are 1%, there's no plus VAT, which I assume a lot of people have. There's no reason you can't get 1.5% plus VAT. So I'd move my rates immediately to 1.5% plus VAT, or move them up by 0.5%. That's not a lot to be able to, move up by justify. And then, I'd say go and get the training that we talked about earlier on, in terms of go and get yourself some good sales training. But then, as an individual, where you are all different, list all the things that you do that are worth that extra 0.5% income. List them all and understand them all, and then make sure that when you're pitching, do what I said earlier. Don't try and justify the whole fee. Try and justify the difference. When you're justifying the 0.5%, you are saying, Mr. Customer, the reason I'm worth an extra 0.5% is, and then have your list ready of the things you do where you go over and above other local agents as to why you're worth that fee. When you sell the value, you won't get the objection in the first place.
Yeah. Here's anything you want to add there?
Yeah, I can supplement that a little bit by just saying work things backwards as well, because there's going to be agents in your market that are charging those higher fees. It always will be. If you're not, someone will be. And it's understanding what they do, how comes they can get their fees, what are we doing that's falling short of that. Is kind of taking leaps out of other people's branches. Of course, great within the network of EweMove, but you know, there's probably an agent not too far from you who's able to get their fees and, you know, and do very well out of it. So I think just really home into your competition. That's the main thing. You've got to understand your market. You've got to understand who you're going up against, so you understand where to put yourself on that kind of scale. And anything's possible. I mean, main thing is, if you mentioned taking on immediate advice, that's it. It has to be immediate. It starts today. Don't give up. Don't bend. Don't compromise. You know.
Yeah. Now, what I would like to see is, I'd like to see you guys year after year being number 1 and number 2 with fees. But unfortunately, you've given people a lot of advice, which means they're going to be chasing after that award. So it's going to make it more challenging for you guys to win in the future. But thank you very much. I know what our average fee in our network is, and I would love to see our average fee, even if it moves up half of what you're suggesting, if that can move up by 0.25% as a network, I think it'll be amazing. It's going to make a massive difference to profits in the business. So thank you guys very much. And congratulations again on your ongoing consistency and always winning or coming second with those awards. Very well done.
Yeah, thank you very much, Wayne.
Thanks.